Sir,
We back.
back it.
How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling all right, man. It's crazy, man. I had caught COVID, man, and been the lifestyle that I have to live due to my medical conditions. Man, it put me down, man. It put me down.
Yeah, was as bad as they say on the news?
Man, most of it, I couldn't even tell you what was going on because I was really like out of it, man. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was trying to do, but
Mm-hmm.
went to the hospital. They said that I was, taking my IVs out. They said I
Mm.
took my off, and but I was so out of it. I don't even remember like much of it. So,
Mm.
they sent you after they sent me to ICU, man. I was pretty much sleeping, man. I was asleep. They was, giving me medications, and I was asleep when I finally, got to a good recovery point. They explained to me, what was going on and everything. I got moved back to a regular room. From that moment on, I was just trying to get out and get home. So,
Yeah.
but it was
Yeah.
crazy. The actual symptoms, you know, um, mine was mixed because again, you know, um, I'm diabetic, so they I had a little as they call it DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. So I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
like thrown up and all kinds of crazy stuff before I actually
Mm.
went to the hospital. But man, I'm glad I made it through, man. I'm glad I made it through.
That's all we can be happy before we alive.
Facts.
So,
How you doing?
I mean, I'm doing all right. I'm some money move changes, some job moving changes, and I mean, I had COVID a while ago, and for me, underlying conditions. I mean, I was just tired. Only thing for me was I was just tired. Things took a lot more energy. I couldn't just do things how I was doing things before. I actually had to walk up some steps and cook. That took more energy than it used to, and it took me a little while to get back. But once you get back, you're back. But it's kind of like think I thought about it in the kind of like the football world injury where you tear your ACL, so you be kind of you walk different. Your lungs stop working how they
Oh,
working, and I had and I had pneumonia on top of that, right? So your lungs ain't working how they normally work, and you in that joint like, damn, should I should I keep doing stuff? You know what I mean? So, but all in all, I mean, I'm doing a okay. Just another day, another dollar, trying to keep up the hustle, man.
absolutely, man. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about, man.
And on the hustle part, I wanted to talk about some intersexual dynamics. I think that's the proper word. I could be wrong, man. But a lot of the spaces on the internet are now filled with, you know, modern women this, modern men that. And it all stems from women having jobs, if we're being quite frank, right? Typically women didn't work, and since they didn't work, they weren't worried about things like, how much a guy makes per se. Like there was still some, credence to the claim, but it wasn't as crazy. They'd get with a guy making 40K, they get with a guy making 45K, 50K, 60K, and some of them got with rich guys. And it wasn't that big of a deal. Some they thought about, but wasn't that crazy. But now that more women are working, and I think this is very prevalent in the black community, i.e., BlK CP, right?
Right, right.
Black women make on average about $26,000 a year. The 9% make above 50K. So women working has created, especially with the blow up OnlyFans, but let's just keep this concise. Women working has created, oh, well, I make this much, now guys should make this much. I think they say you should make about 2.5 times your wife. That makes her feel more comfortable, right? So a woman making 22K, now you got to make around 60K. She making 40K, you got to make around 80K, maybe really 90K, 100K. And it has changed how, again, particularly in our community, how the mating and dating is going on. That with sexual liberation, mix those two things together, and women are saying, "Hey, I'm doing better. Men should do better." In actuality, women are doing, average. Nothing crazy. Men still, have the most money, hold the better jobs, and that's not because they're men. It's because how much work you put in. We don't get pregnant. So to boil this down to a simple question is and you can give me a general, give me your personal, right? What do you think is the best form of relationship, whether it be liberal, whether it be more traditional, and then what you prefer?
Man, it's it's crazy because all I know is what I've seen growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much my experiences are the traditional man and woman, and man goes out and makes his money and come back and take care of home and do what he got to do. That's what I know.
Mm-hmm.
But from seeing the world today and all the options that are available,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's very different now. So even though I have that traditional mindset, the world is no longer traditional. So for my household and my family, both me and my lady work and we both contribute to the household equally.
Mm-hmm.
So that is where I'm at with it. But some people like the old school way of things. Some people like the new school way of things. For me, the role that we've taken here is that I give mine, you give yours, and we come together and make a whole. So that's where I'm at with it.
Now, what do you think about for general? Do
For
you,
general,
if you had to give, let's say, like, when we say majority, 51% wins, do you think liberal, more liberal leaning, whatever that entails, as far as how the guy acts, how the woman acts, or more traditional, which one do you think on a bounds of probability work out better or more often, I should say?
um, um, I would say the traditional way works out probably much better more often
Mm-hmm.
than most. Because I mean that's just I think society more so accepts that more. And then with the role, you know what though? I'm gonna be honest, man. Like I've been listening to a lot of stuff like lately and just having like different opinions, hearing different opinions on stuff. And the roles and the way things are is kind of a mindset that we've been put into through the people who control our society. And of course, it is good and bad,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, if we don't open ourselves up to be more accepting of things, then
Mm-hmm.
kind of halts our progression as a society. And not saying that everybody has to have that high level of, oh, this person needs $1 million and 6 figures, 8 figures, and all of this. But everybody being able to accept a new normal rather than being so judgmental on it. But again, I think the traditional way works out best just because that's what type of society that we're in. but new changes and new things are always opening up the dynamics to accept more and to be open to different concepts of the way that we live our lives.
So two follow-up questions would be, who do you think's changed, men or women, as far as dating, mating, and even marriage life? Who do you think has changed more between the two? Why? And who do you think controls society?
Um, I think because the way the world is that women have changed the most, and I think the reason why women have changed the most is because they have always been in a position of kind of like less than. If you look at it,
I'm
how
sorry, your mic cut out for a second. You said women have been in a position of less than?
yeah, I say less than because like they haven't been at the like forefront of having to do a lot of things. Men did a lot of things and they've kind of like been, set back like, here, I'm gonna take care of you type of thing. But now in today's society, like, women are more ambitious. They want to, acquire more things. They want to do more things. They want to, you know, be more contributors to society than what they have been in the past. So because of that, I think that has made them change and kind of push them into being in the workforce more creative, more innovative, more just having more say. Um, why? They got tired of just, sitting back and not having that say, not having a voice, not, being a part of what is actually going on and how it's going on. And so that's why I think they really did it to have more choice, to have more liberation, more say, to be more part of society, even though they were in their respective roles of taking care of the household and things like that. But now they have more precedence of being out in the community and being a face and a voice of change and expression. Um, so I think that I think everybody has that desire. I think it was a little bit less in the past where it was not shown as much attention as it is now. And what was your second question?
Who runs society?
Oh, I definitely believe that men run society, but I think that it's influenced a lot by what women actually want. So men, make those decisions and do the things that need to be done. As far as, I mean, when you look at like politics and when you look at like a lot of the leading STEM type programs and universities and leadership roles, a lot of those are filled with men. And I think they do it and they pursue it to make a better life in the world for women and children. So I think men run it, but it's heavily influenced by the women who are in their lives, and then the children that they bring into the world.
So on my end, it would be, I think traditional works now. Currently, I'm not dating. I'm not even really trying to date. I'm just out here trying to smash chicks, And yeah, I'm just a young man doing my thug thizzle, right? But the relationships I have been in, I was more, yeah, do what you want, just have fun, blah blah blah, which would be more, I guess liberal, or they call in the spaces blue pill, but terminology, whether it's correct or not, it is what it is. But when it comes down to what I think works best, it shows in the fact that men that are rich don't get divorced as often as men that are poor, or well, poor, average, or even below average. Even the guys who aren't, let's say, well, the top 15% from like $80,000 to 1,500 million a year, so from the ends or the beginning to the extremes or whatever. Guys that have more money tend to have relationships that have, let's say, more invested in them, so women won't just leave as frequently. And women still leave. If you look at the divorce rate, 80% clip, or 75, but 80% clip. It's troublesome because when you look at someone that can provide these things, that as a man, you're like, where do I rank on the scale? Oh, I'm here. A guy who could do this and this and this and this for his chick and have a certain type of lifestyle, she doesn't like him. It makes the rest of the dating world go, well, there's no point to get married. Let's just have fun, because women just want to have fun. But point is, I think traditional relationships work better, or marriages, I should say. If I were to ever get married, it would be more traditional. And traditional regardless of the income. A man's a man's a man. Whether he's making 40K, 50K, 100,000, or a million a year, you should still respect a man as a man. If the woman doesn't respect or even want him to lead, he should leave, because what's the point of being in a house where you're not respected or cared for? Secondly, when it comes down to running society, in my opinion, this day and age, you could say that men run the infrastructure, but women they run everything else, from TV to media to the type of propaganda, beyond, let's say, the left and the right trying to get their own holds on the world. It would be women more running. I mean, talk shows, daytime TV is all women based. All the comedy, or even the shows that aren't like HBO Max and Cinemax, what else? Freaking Stars. Typically, it's the dumb husband who can't get anything right, and the wife who knows all. Right? The husband makes a mistake. I was watching I don't know what it was. I was watching with my grandma, but Cedric the Entertainer. I don't know the show, and I think the woman from uh, Chris. What's that? Everybody Hates Chris. Um,
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the
Uh,
name.
yeah. To niche.
Did
I
she
know she
pay
was in
Pam?
Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she was.
did pay Pam. All right, so and I was watching an episode, and
I feel
I'm
bad.
I was watching an episode, and essentially there was something going on, and all this stuff the husband did is, i.e., he was supposed to shut down the store, lock up, tell everybody they had the day off, and do stuff like that. He didn't do, and she was like, "Well, no, I corrected this, this, and this, and that, and this." And it was just like, wow, they really want us to just be men who can't do, don't know, won't know, ever do anything. We're just lazy, all fat, all don't care. So I would say that besides the infrastructure, women have a stronghold on media. Let's just put it like that. Um, and when it comes down to the whole, who's changed over time, it's women. And the problem that I have is that a lot of women say, well, we're changing, you guys haven't changed. You'll see more women to be in lead positions and control later on down the line. Well, if you look through history, no matriarchy has stayed the test of time. If there was a matriarchy, men came around and effed them up, killed them, pillaged, R word, grape, all that shit, and we took the world back, right? Because I don't care if you're Ronda freaking Rousey, you're not going to beat up another guy that's just as well trained as you, and even if you guys are using weapons, and you can even make the argument that the average guy on a balance probability, I'd say 1 out of 5 fights, Rondy's losing at least one. Bare minimum one. The guy who just doesn't even really, he just fights, street fight, whatever you want to call it. And women changing is when I was talking about earlier, when it came to money, having jobs. And you made a couple of statements like more innovative, more say, and having a voice. And the more innovative part, you can say misogyny, but innovations and inventions have never been a woman thing. Besides
Mm.
Madame Curie, I don't know of any other, and I would be lying if I said I knew what she created, right? And that's the ignorance on my part. Not that she didn't do something that could have been great, but everything that's beneficial to women, as far as, oh God, women. I hate people say woman singular when it's supposed to be women plural, but that have made changes for women would be the fact that men made birth controls, tampons, uh, pregnancy is a lot. Women aren't even scared of getting pregnant when you used to die back in the old days. Die. You have a kid, you might die in your first or second one, and you were expected to spit out 10. You know what I'm saying? But now we have made so many steps ahead in tech where women can just have kids upon kids upon kids if they wanted to, and little to no risk. And even then, there's not even as many kids being born nowadays because, especially in our community, well, besides the single mother rate being crazy, but women used to have like 10 kids, 12 kids. Cheaper by the Dozen was a movie. Now it's more like one kid, two kid, three kid. I've heard some. I know a couple women that have like 8 kids. But point is, I don't think women have been more innovative. If anything, they've just gotten to positions where men were at, which doesn't bother me. It's just if you're better for the job, you're better for the job. And the whole more say, I mean, I hear you because some women really, don't say anything, but at the same breath, I think there is a level of don't embarrass your man out in public. I think there's a level of if a guy marries you, he values your input, but he has the final say. And these aren't things that aren't supposed to be like, oh, you're a woman, you're below me, listen to everything I say. It's more like a guy who's in control of his life making the decisions. And if that woman wants him and believes in him and whatever else criteria that woman needs to be with him, if he's that guy for you, then it shouldn't be a problem. Listen to what he says. You say something when you feel something's wrong, you feel something off. A guy worth his salt, he listens, he says, okay, I hear your opinion. Thank you for letting me know. He proceeds to go forward and he'll take what you say into consideration. More of a benevolent dictatorship. But that doesn't work anymore. The voice part, this is great. A guy named Think Before You Sleep. This is a great example. A man, a woman, and his father, right? The father texts the wife, "Hey, can you put up tools, clean up, and basically all the work they had been doing on the house that the guy was building for his wife, with his father." She gets home. She's TikTok famous, hairstylist. She then posts on TikTok what they said, what he asked, and how she didn't like it. I can't believe he would ask me such a thing. And then afterwards, the next time she came home, this is another TikTok and update. The first TikTok, all the women were like, "Yeah, don't do it, girl. You deserve. You shouldn't have to clean. This is not your mess." Right? Second time she gets home, then it's all nice. Oh, see, they cleaned up. I don't know if they got the message or because I bitched them out or whatever. But now I think they understand we're on the same page. And then the third one is, I hate to say this, but we have come to the point where we're getting a divorce. We've been separated for the past couple of days. No, 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 no. He divorced your dumbass. Why? Because you're disrespecting the man in public. That is a woman that has too much to say. That is part of the problem, right? Yeah, for men and women alike, but men don't typically run to the internet, especially for things. Men typically like to keep it in house. Some guys don't, some guys do, but I would say in general, right? But especially
Mm-hmm.
in this time, women love running to the internet to say, "Oh my God, am I right? Is he wrong?" That does not work. So when it comes down to more to say, I hear you, but I think there's levels to it because the idea of a woman is meant to be seen and not speak or something. That that comes from the top of the very top guys going to like gala balls and just don't say anything, mingle with the women. If you need me, tap me on the shoulder or something. And you can say it's extreme, but a lifestyle that a woman either chose, and I can't even make the argument they were forced. it was repercussions for leaving the marriage because women couldn't make as much back then because jobs weren't as prevalent as they are now. But mind you, World War II happened and women had to go into the workforce. So, it's a give and take, but women still had freedom. And I'll end it with this point saying there was also women who fought to stay housewives and not have to be in the workforce and not want to work. There was and all this oppression, women, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. You say all that, but then who gave you all this? Who you say men did all that to you, but then who gave it back to you? If men took everything, who gave it to you? Men. If men wanted to keep women, as they say, oppressed, then women would not be doing the shit they're doing now. So I'll leave that into saying, when it comes down to the workforce, and I don't know how far you got to go back. I would even say 1900s, at the bare minimum. But when I did slight research, very tier 1, not tier 5, I didn't go deep into it, but tier 1 research says a lot of the work were lumber, breaking down or making railroads, mining, the type of off-sea stuff that we do now, but to get food for like fishing, chicken, hunting, all that stuff. Do you think a woman could have done these? And mind you, during this time, men are working 72-hour work weeks. We think 40 is a lot because we're privileged, right? They're working 72-hour work weeks doing crucial labor, building train tracks, cutting down trees, hunting and gathering, just the bare basics, farmers. Do you think that women could have actually done these jobs to the same level and even the dedication as the men did? And elaborate.
I mean, nah, I mean, I don't think that women were built to do those jobs, build railroad tracks, chop down trees, hunting, gathering. I mean, I think more of what they were doing was cooking, making sure the house is good.
Domestication.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I don't think they was out there doing the hard labor. No, absolutely not.
So when women, oh my bad, go ahead.
No, and I believe, men created, this lifestyle for them, and it's just to the point where everything's been created so much, it's giving them so much opportunity.
Yeah, abundance. So my question would then be, if women couldn't do those things, why do you think women say things like, well, we were oppressed, we couldn't go get jobs, we couldn't do this, in times where if they could do the jobs, the only jobs they could really do as efficiently would be office jobs? Why do you think so many women don't take this into account when they say things like, we're just oppressed and didn't have anything?
Yeah, I mean, you got a point. I do think also, though, that if the women trained under those men at the time, that it would have put them in that position to be able to do those jobs. But it seems like they didn't. So again, that's what the options are in the world today. Women are taking the initiative to do those things now more than in the past. And also the roles of the gender now is so open that it allows for people to make these decisions and choices.
Well, I want to hit this first. Open genders. What does that mean? I know you're talking about gender dynamics, but I'm saying what does that entail?
I mean, people choose their role now. People, man, it's crazy because I saw, I mean, it looked like there was a guy who was, he looked like he was gay. I don't know how to really explain it, but he had, he got his hair done. He was what we would call the feminine role. He was displaying the feminine role, But then his girlfriend, she was a female, but she was displaying the masculine role. Like it was like he was. It was like it was a regular relationship, but they were just playing different roles, the opposite. So she, as a woman, you thinking, feminine, she was playing the masculine role, and he, as the male, was playing the feminine role. It was so crazy, but that's what worked for them. You know what I mean? And then it's like it's wrong, but it's not. It's not that it's wrong. It's different, or it's it was crazy, man. I don't even know what to think about it, to be honest. But it worked, and it made it work in harmony as far as what we're used to seeing, thinking.
And I guess the tier level will be. I mean, do you think that work out long term? But we already discussed whether you think traditional or more liberal work out more often. So we can leave that alone. But then it would go into this is one thing that I very much disagree with would be that if women were trained, I know. Why? Because women don't want to do these jobs. If nothing, the new how you say women are what? They're trying to do more things. Well, they're trying to do more things that they like. If you notice, most women are in healthcare. Why? Because healthcare helping women care more about people, men care more about objects or things. So that it plays out in the most egalitarian system. I can't remember where the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. Jordan B. Peterson talked about this. And in the Netherlands, where it is completely egalitarian, it's separate. The men and women separate to more what they like, even more than normal. So if women did like things, even those women wouldn't pick jobs that are construction, driving from country to country, dropping off supplies. They wouldn't pick those jobs. They still pick jobs like nursing, social stuff. What do they call the people that go to houses for kids and whatnot? I mean, that's what women care about, and that's just how women are. Men
Yeah.
care more about things. So I don't think that if women could have no, even if they were trained, I just don't see that as either the norm, women accepting it, or that it would even work out. Because here's the gripe with that. When it comes down to it, men are stronger than women in the general. Can a woman work out and become strong? Sure. But women who take steroids literally start to look like men, i.e., growing beards. Okay. It shows you how much a man is required. Me trolling. But to really
Uh,
though, really though, women to do these jobs, you have to be hella strong. Women don't have that type of grit. They're just not built like that. So even if you teach them how to do it, does that mean that they could get the job done? Sure. But who's going to get the job done faster and more efficiently? Would it be more efficiently to wait 17 days for women to make a trail track? Oh my God, rail track, trail track, train track. There we go, train track. Or would it be more efficient to have the guy do about, let's say, cut it in half, let's say 8.5 days, and they build the same train track? So it's things like that. I don't see women first off wanting to, and even being able to even survive that. That's harsh, bro. To go out there and work 72-hour work weeks, that is harsh as hell. And then you want to look at it like this: women are out there doing that. One, who's having kids, first off, because it wouldn't be the majority of women, but point is, who's having kids. Secondly, how can they sustain this? Their bodies wouldn't even hold up to that type of pressure. Now, in this day and age where we have more office jobs, more cozy jobs, that's what women tend to have. They're secretaries, they're gardeners, they're everything that doesn't take as much physical labor. And that's fine by me, right? But the thing will also be that, well, they're all these things. They like to be all these cozy jobs, and then talk about they're not equal, or they still are treated unfairly, or even actually question. Do you think the wage gap is a myth, or do you think it's true? Just a quick point of contention. I'll see.
nah, I mean, I think it's I think it's true.
All right, hold on. We'll get into that in just a second. But women, they say they want this equality. Oh yeah, I want to be treated the same way as men for doing my job. Blah blah blah. But women by far don't do any of the infrastructure. That's why shout out to Kevin Samuels when he was talking about survival and how women would die without men. He made it so archaic because of the fact that women are thinking, yeah, we could just do the infrastructure. Why would we die? There are books and blah, blah, blah. Not acting like books don't take understanding or time to understand, or even acting as if it's just going to be easy to run a nuclear power plant. Or, you know what I'm saying? Truckers, how many truckers? I mean, I think I was with you one time at the gym when one guy was talking about how he fell asleep in his car a couple times and he almost crashed. Lucky he woke up. I mean, it's a lot of stress and strain on the body, and women aren't built for that. Now, so any contention, any differences with what I just said? It was a little bit or a lot, but yeah, anything? You good?
Yeah, no, man. I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. But nowadays, this is what I mean. Like
Okay.
nowadays, they're being police officers, they're being firefighters, they're being truck drivers. Women are doing all the things that men are doing. Now, are they the best at it?
No.
I can say that they're the absolute best at it, but some of them do reach the ranks of prestige in their field after years of experience. I mean, they're being fire chiefs now. I mean, and that's not going to be all of the women. That's not going to be majority of the women, but they are starting to take those roles and make that happen in the world today. Now, majority of them, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to be that. And I think more of them need to settle into that. All of them won't have that voice and won't reach that potential. But even with men, all of the men won't reach that potential either.
Thank you. And this is where because eventually this is going to turn. I hear you, and I think that they are doing jobs, but I don't think women should be police or military because the average guy can fuck up a chick. A chick who's been training for years in MMA could get her hands put on her, maybe not as often, but more than likely an average guy, same height, same weight, he's going to mollywop her. And that's
I just saw it. I just saw it.
Where?
A police. It was a video. Watch that light. It was a video on YouTube, and the police officer, one was on this dude's head and had him cuffed, and the lady was trying to get his legs, and he was just kicking her all over the place.
Yeah,
he was doing karate on the ground, and she wound up getting kicked and fell on the train tracks.
Yeah. There was even a video of a woman who saved a guy from the train tracks because I think his car happened, something like he was drunk. He was in the car type. She saves him, but he loses a leg. Right? So I ain't gonna hold you. If that's a guy, he gets saved outright. The same guy, Mr. I think before you sleep, he made a video about these about police officers and how it affects women and men differently. But one of the videos was a guy who was just standing upright saying, "Wait, why are you detaining me? Why are you detaining me?" And two women could not subdue him. He literally pushed them around and batted them around like they were small children. And that's what the average man can do to someone who's even trained. So I hear you. I get it. But women by far aren't oppressed. They live in the most free country. And we can go to the extremes and say, what about, the Middle East and stuff like that? But you can, any European country that's not like, I think, what is it, London now or Britain? I'm not too sure with all of them, but Scandinavian countries. It wasn't Netherlands. It was Scandinavia, by the way. But all these European places besides like Canada, there we go. I couldn't think goddamn Canada. And they're more north of us. But point is, most places that aren't America, the place, Japan, China, the Philippines, these places are predominantly men and the quote unquote patriarchy, but women are happier. Why, what is it? 1 in 4 women are on psych meds nowadays. I mean, women
Wow.
are not happy, but that's partially because that they're in control of certain aspects of life, and that does not bode well for them because they're not even happy doing what they claim to be happy with. Because having money is something that men care about, not women by the foreign. So I want to get into this the wage gap, because why do you think there's a wage gap?
I think there's a wage gap. One, because I think the jobs that we do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think more men are doing jobs that are more. I mean, it takes more to do. You know, as far as education, as far as skill set, as far as you know. I mean, I would hate to be running a company and somebody else come into the company that I'm running and make the same amount that I'm making doing a different gig.
Lower even. Okay. So now, would you call that a wage gap or choice?
Yeah, I guess it is a choice if they accepted it.
Well, I mean, if this gets back to the crux of everything I've been saying as far as men going to more science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. Women choose more social jobs. So if a woman chooses a job that's social, so if a woman's a gardener, should she get paid as much as a Ivy League professor?
Of course not.
If and even if you want to switch the roles, should a male gardener make the same as a female Ivy League professor?
Absolutely not.
And that's the wage gap was debunked because of the fact that it doesn't work when you put it up against hours worked, years worked, choice of job. Women don't choose these jobs, so when these things happen, and women, oh well, we need this, we need that, they're not having the same impact that men have as far as what jobs they do and how much they can get paid for that job. Men accept where they are, but women can't. For example, the WNBA said they deserve to be paid as much as the NBA. Do you think WNBA should make as much as the NBA?
I mean, I do
Why?
because
Why?
they're doing the exact same thing. Now, I think that they should be paid based on the viewership, though. Like if they're getting people as far as like how LeBron got people following them, and how if they're building the audience for the company and the business, and they're producing the type of income, then I think that they should be sort of like how the colleges now are starting to pay the kids,
Yeah,
because the kids are. I feel like if you're a hot object and
commodity. Yeah.
you're in commodity, and you're in this video, that video, people reposting you got a lot of people coming to the shows, getting stands, buying your jerseys and stuff. I think that income should be shared with the players.
Now you brought up a few key facts. Do you think that women get the same viewership as men?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I don't watch the WNBA. I don't even know when it comes on. All
Fact.
I just see the scores, every, here and there. But
And
I mean, they need to probably do better marketing, but
maybe, but this is coming from a guy, and I do not watch the NBA. Now I think I'm gonna start because I want to beat my friend in basketball and he learned some techniques, right? But I don't watch the NBA. So it's not an indictment on the women to say, hey, we don't watch you. But when you say viewership and they should get paid the same, it just don't work like that. Now to I want to move on to women's soccer as well, because actually I just listened to a video about this too. For the WNBA, there are more women than men. So if women wanted to support the WNBA, they could actually make it the richest sport. But guess what,
oh,
Bach? They don't.
They, yeah.
They don't. There are more women on this planet than there are men. So there's no reason that women should not be getting paid more if women actually wanted to see them play. And by far, women don't actually want to see them play. So that's how the cookie crumbles. And female soccer, the same issue, right? Guess what? When they play, they automatically get paid. If when COVID happened, they don't have to worry about shit. They check is showing up. So they get paid a certain amount. Let's just say 6, I think it was 6 million a game, right? And I can't remember the higher end for the men, but let's just say it's like 20 million, 30 million, maybe even higher, depending if you're like a Messi or something, right? So women get paid 6 million, but they get paid regardless. There could be a cataclysmic freaking half the earth falling apart, and some weird, people ain't panicking.
Multiverse.
Yeah. But if they don't play, it's okay. They get paid. Now, the men, they only get paid if they play. And these were things that were relevant or prevalent in the CBA deals. CBA, I can't think of the word, but yeah, I think it's agreement, something. Oh, collective bargain. Yeah, CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. These are things that are set up by, this is what the women chose. The men chose higher reward, but also if we don't play, we get nothing. So, but the women are like, hey, we should get paid more. Hey, and why? You first off, you agreed on this collective bargaining agreement, how much you would get paid. Secondly, I know the draw isn't the same, but even moving past that, thirdly, what makes you more important or different? Guys make more because of what they negotiated for. You make what you make because of what you negotiated for. So why is there an issue? The issue is because they want the same pay without the same type of work, the same level of engagement. I can't be a YouTube channel with 1 subscriber mad that a guy who has 100,000 gets 10K more views than me. Actually, if that's a situation, I'm blessed. But point is, man, you get paid for what you can bring in, as you stated, and women aren't as big of a draw. That's because typically women aren't as athletic, nor are they as even, being quite frank, as good. Have you seen some of these lowlights for the WNBA? At first, I thought they were just trying to make them look bad, like years ago when I actually thought they were trying to make them. But now I'm convinced that they're not bad, but compared to NBA, fuck that, Bach. If me and you went to a gym and played ball, I'm out of shape, you're out of shape, throwing you under the bus. Yeah, we would have a better game that was worth more money than the WNBA. And that is just how it's set up. So wage gap isn't true. It is. It's been debunked millions of times. I read half the paper, but after I read the part where it was like, what job you choose, I was like, oh, this is all choice. Fuck yeah, I don't need to read no more, right? But it's all choice. So that even moves into my next topic, right? When it comes down to it, men and women, we've gone through dating dynamics. We've even gone through marriage dynamics, right? How do you think men and women can, let's say, work out whatever these issues are? Because from what I can tell, I don't think there's a solution. So let's put it like this. Do you think there's a reason to get married in 2021? As a rich guy, and let me preface this out first. As a rich guy, I don't think it matters much. I think that you can get married and there's less of a risk because the divorce rates are less. Could still get divorced, less likely to get divorced, but you're rich. Jeff Bezos lost 10 mil. It wasn't shit to him, or it's probably more than that, but you get my point. But as a guy who's just a normal dude living life, do you think that guy should get married in this day and age?
So, to me, marriage is a union between you and the woman that you love. Mm-hmm. And also it is a business agreement between you and the family y'all create. And I believe that if you have those things, then absolutely you should get married. But if you're just doing it just just to be, just to be doing it. I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, if you got everything that you want and you need, and I mean, that woman that you with is gonna want that commitment from you though. And it's like, okay, are you ready and willing to give that to her, or are you not? If you are, then I definitely do it. If you're not, then definitely don't do it. But in this day and age, the way things are going, I mean, you see it. I mean, to me, it's a lot more to it than that, because they always have these celebrities and stars who you see get married and get divorced, and you hear a little bit of the story, but at the same time, that same thing is a business. You know what I mean? And it's legal, it's financial transactions on both ends, where the court systems and the government, they're making money off of these proceedings on both sides. So I know a lot of it has to do with the marketing of that and the following of these people who got all this money and stuff like that, and you know and the what they want to portray to the public. And I think it's not just getting married anymore. I think it's also a status level. Who you're around. Who I mean, if you notice, most of the most famous people in the world, you see them, and it's like people who are leaders of the country and stuff like that, and leaders of businesses and things like that, and big companies. You see a lot of them with their wife and kids, or their husband and kids, and they show that harmony of life and balance. So I think it still has its perks, and also just the unity of everything. But for the rich guy who I don't know, you remember the guy that he used to have all them guns and women in his videos and stuff like that. Some Brazilian looking like guy, boy, he used to work out, said he got money from poker or something. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot his name. I think it's like Dan Brazilianaire.
Something like that, I think. I think it's Dan. I just can't think of him at all.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's all about that end result too. You know what I mean? Because when you're on your bed, I mean, yeah, you might got enough money to take care of yourself, but are you lonely? Are you, do you have that companionship? Do you have that, person there to take you through it? Or is it just some chick that's just going to be like, all right, well, you dying. I'm going to roll out, go holler at, my next millionaire to see, did you put me in your will? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
what you.
Feel me?
I think marriage is about duty. You stay together because you got a kid if you have to, right? And mind you, I want you to know the flip side for me is that if you're a man or even a woman, the reason why I focus on the men part, because men rarely leave. That's why women are dogs and women are cats and men are dogs. We're very loyal. We actually care, right? So when it comes down, the reason why I bring up men leaving more than I bring up women leaving, because on a bounds of probability, especially in this day and age with no fault divorce, typically women are leaving because they're not happy. Things aren't going the way they want. That's not a good enough reason to divorce. But when a man leaves, it's like the TikTok video I told you about earlier. He's leaving because she doing some wild shit and he don't like it. And he can't make this different. He can't change her mind. She is who she is and she acts how she acts, and he would rather, instead of being in some long-term commitment, he rather leave and say, well, it's just not going to work out the way I want, right? So that's okay. It's okay, right? And like I prefaced earlier, because the guys typically don't leave. But to me, it's about duty. You stay together because you have to. Um, because the kids, you want them to have a good life, etc., etc. If you can't square your demons as the man or woman and you guys treat each other poorly, no point to be together. But when it comes down to it, you have to want it. And on both sides. If the guy doesn't want shit to do with you and y'all are just, having fun, essentially just cheating on each other, that's cool. Do that. Just pretend like you're happy to see one another while the kids are around if you got to. But if you're a man, leave and start another family. Do it over again. See where you fucked up. Be a better you. Keep it pushing. And you can't do much, give the woman her whatever money and divorce because you got to somehow, some way compensate. If she make more than you, GG's in the chat. You don't got to worry about that to a degree. But it's all about doing what's best for the children and the family. But since most women don't think like that, I'm in this mindset, do what's best for you. Women do what's best for them all the time. And I am nowhere near, I love it. Why? Women have degraded I guess vagina, you get that anywhere, right? You pick up a girl at a party, pick up a girl Starbucks. Is it as easy as I'm saying? No, but it can be done. Secondly, when it comes down to even maintaining a relationship is different than just being in one outright. But as men, we just got to do what we got to do to protect the family. And if family is not important to women, do you think this? So my point is this. Marriage helps women more than it helps men. It benefits them more, gives them a security blanket, gives them something to quote unquote like, love, and thrive on. And men, it's hard, they what is it? Oh, you got the chain around your ankle now, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're locked down as a man, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. But for the woman, it's, oh, great, you got a husband, someone that can help you, stay with you through life. I agree with the companionship. Eventually, sex does get old. That's cool. But to me, that it comes down to doing what you got to do out of duty or leaving because it's the only thing you can do. Because you can't make a woman respect you again. It just doesn't work like that. She may start to like you more if you guys are having issues, but a woman, once she loses respect for you, it's hard for that. I have never heard a story. Look at Jada and Will, and celebrities are hard to use, but they're just the most recognizable. But look at them. You think she respects that man? I don't. I think a woman that respects her man wouldn't say that type of shit in public. You know what I'm saying? Aisha Curry. I think a woman that respects her man wouldn't say that shit, and she didn't even say something crazy. She's talking about how she wants more attention. You know what I'm saying? And I get that there can be some caveats. Oh, well, she's sleeping with the mailman because Steph knows about it, or either way with Jada. But my whole point is, it comes down to what you're doing for your family. In this day and age, family is not valued. So men, do what you want, have fun. But I don't want to hear women complaining when the man starts doing what they want and having fun, and you're like, well, he doesn't commit anymore. He doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Men are not, because they have finally caught up to the game that's being played.
Yeah. They seeing it for what it's worth, man. Yeah.
And I'm not mad at the dude for it.
But the only thing is this. Yeah, you got those options, but again, just like these women, what are you going to have? Are you going to have that person to grow old with and love on until you go, or
nope.
Are you going to, or are you just still going to be trying to, go out there and knock them down, champ? You know what I'm saying? When it come that time for you to, have that retirement lifestyle.
I feel you on that, but you can retire, old man, as long as you keep yourself in shape and still get chicks. That's one. Right now, I from all the older men I've listened to online, eventually they get tired of chasing the chicks, smashing random girls. It gets old, and I'm aware, right? I plan to smash more chicks, but I'm a young man. It makes more sense, right? I ain't mad at y'all. In that same breath, I'm also not going to pretend like guys haven't been dying by themselves forever. First off, war. Now, you may have a wife back home, but there's no such thing as a wife when you're in Vietnam. Where else do we go? Japan. That don't exist. You're ready to die. You're ready to die for the people you love, but you're still going to go out there and get yourself some tail if you can on the side. If you can. That's if you survive the majority of the war, right? Secondly, men can live with that because men understand sacrifice. Men can be just as lonely as women, I agree. But I think men understand sacrifice. It matters more. We have to sacrifice. Innately in our, we would die for a woman. That's the ultimate we get it. Women are more social than us. There are so many things that play into why, yes, men can also die alone, but it affects women worse. I mean, and that's just the harsh reality. It just really does. And it sucks that it does, but that's just how it is. So
Yeah.
could a guy die and be sad? Of course, but hermits, people who were losers, crazies, conspiracy theorists, whatever you want to say, die without wives. I mean, they die. I just think that men are more prepared to die by themselves than women could, right? That's all I'm saying. And when it comes down to it, us dying by ourselves and them dying by themselves, it's sadder because it's a woman. You're looking at a woman like, I mean, guys love vagina. You carry this commodity. How does a guy not want you? What's going on here? It's like if a rich guy was telling me it's hard for him to find a wife, I would go, I mean, I get it. There's not a lot of wife but women, but you should have enough money to source through, find the proper channels, get a matchmaker, a rich guy that also has a slew of women that are wife material. It shouldn't be as crazy. Actually, let's take that back because I don't think there are many wives out here. Let's say this. If a guy that has a plethora of money, an abundance of money, more than the average, he make 80K and he really only spend like 20K a year. He got a whole 20K on the side to do whatever he want. I will look at him and go, why can't you get a chick? Why are you telling me, the broke guy who's out here smashing broads, that it's hard to get chicks? It would throw me off. And that's just the reality of the facts, right? It's things like that that just don't make sense. So if a woman wants to get wifed up, if you understand what men want, and this is where I want to end it. Women, do you understand what men want? Even the average guy not making a lot of money. Do you understand that man just wants you to be nice to him, cook and clean, and even if you have a job, because women back in the day had jobs, and women of today of other races have jobs, but they still treat their men better than our women treat us on average, in general, balance of probability. So, can you just be nice to the man? Can you just love the man and listen to what he's saying and always believe that he has your best interest unless he shows you otherwise? But typically it's not like that. Typically it's, men ain't this, men ain't that. And if you can't if you can't come down to the consensus that, men ain't ish, men ain't this, men ain't that, if that's just how you feel, that's cool. But it's nothing else we can do. DJ BlK, I pass it on to you.
You already know what it is, man. BlK Community Podcast, man. We're talking about the issues. We're talking about everything that's going on. We're showing what's real, what's not, how we getting it, where the information is coming from, and we keeping it all together, man. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Ladies, are y'all listening? Are y'all hearing it? Gentlemen, are y'all listening? Are y'all hearing it? Make sure y'all weigh in, leave comments, share, post, follow, subscribe, notifications on, all that good stuff, man. It's your boy Big Bot. I'm in here with King Khalil, BlK Community Podcast.